What in the world did I just sit through? Hey Shelby Bells, it's Shelby. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in for another video. In today's video, you guys, we have to talk about Def Noodles and Papa Gut. Oh my God. Def Noodles just got off this like super long, and by super long, I don't mean an hour, I don't mean 2 hours, I mean like 5-6 hour long chat in the Twitter space, which is like this room on Twitter. I'll explain it to you guys in a second. Oh my, I feel like I aged 75 years. I feel like I have gray hair now. I don't know how I spent that much of my life listening to this whole Twitter space conversation, but I did, and I have some thoughts. If y'all are interested in hearing more about that drama, make sure that you keep on watching. Okay guys, so let me get you caught up. Okay, this is literally probably about 5 or 7 minutes after the Twitter space has ended. Def Noodles decided today to go onto the Twitter space, which if you are not caught up on what Twitter space is, it is this option that they have on Twitter where you can go into like a chat room, kind of like a chat room, kind of like Clubhouse, if you guys have had Clubhouse, the app, where you can speak to each other, not like typing, but like through voice. And it's like a chat room where you can speak to each other through voice. And you can have like 10 people that are allowed to speak at once, but you can have unlimited people listening to your conversation. So Def Noodles decided to go into one of these rooms today. Literally, okay, I got off work at like 5:30, 5:45-ish, and he was in there talking. I don't know how long he'd been in there before that, but I think he had just gotten in there, you know, right around when I got on, and people were kind of going at it with him. They were kind of questioning him about the Papa Gut thing. They were talking to him about his content in general and how he considers himself a comedian and why he considers himself that versus a news source and all of these things. They were really going at it, you guys. I mean, this thing lasted 5 to 6 hours, and I was there for like the entire thing. Oh my God. Well, a lot of people obviously wanted to know about the Papa Gut situation, because if you are not caught up on this drama, you can watch my last video on this to catch up. But Def Noodles has come for Papa Gut, calling him the P word, calling him the James Charles, and Papa Gut is pissed because Papa Gut, he has made it his mission the past couple years on the internet to stand up for victims of SA. His wife is tragically a victim of SA, and so he has made it his mission to speak out on these things, try to get these people caught, deplatformed if they're public figures and all of that. Papa Gut was really upset at the things that Def Noodles had been saying about him. Def Noodles did not back down. All yesterday, Def Noodles was popping off on Twitter. He even popped off at me on Twitter, girl, and that's a whole separate issue. Maybe I'll make a video about that. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below if you want to hear it. But by the way, the tweet where he came for me is now since been deleted because, hello, I was right. Papa Gut was super pissed. Papa Gut wasn't backing down. Def Noodles wasn't backing down. You know when someone's being so stubborn and such a jackass and they double down on their like idiocracy and they double down on how they're being? That's literally how Def Noodles was being. And he made merch that was mocking Papa Gut. And the thing about the merch was that the merch was a picture of Papa Gut's face on a t-shirt where he's crying, and that is a screenshot from when Papa Gut was crying while he was talking about the R word of his wife. So really like messed up to make a shirt about that. Def Noodles was totally freaking just blind to the whole situation, didn't see things clearly at all, and people were letting him have it about this stuff, you guys, because they were not backing down. If there's one thing I will say about Def Noodles, he is stubborn. What is Def Noodles' a zodiac sign? I feel like he might be a Taurus. Okay, he is very stubborn, but he was not backing down. Maybe an Aries. He was not backing down. He would not fold. You know, everything that somebody would say, he would kind of reflect and deflect from it. He wouldn't really take any accountability. A lot of the conversations he was having with people were going around and around in circles. And you guys, when I tell you that I saved you from listening to 5-6 hours of this torture. Let me tell you, I saved it. Y'all always want to say I don't do my research for this stuff. I did my research with this stuff, okay? I listened through 5 or 6 hours of this nonsense going back and forth with people on the internet about Defnoodles and how he's a piece of shit for hours, girl. And I'm literally, I aged about 75 years doing it. I really did. Okay, the cats are over it. The cats were listening to it for some time, and they were like, well, should we get receipts, Mama? And I was like, you know what? Eventually, baby, we will. Let's just screen record and find out. I decided to start screen recording because Papa Gut decided to come into the stream. And when he decided to come into the stream, I was like, okay, I'm going to start screen recording. Mr. Kitty, I already know. Mr. Kitty, Miss is over it. She's so over it. She said, Mama, okay, when Papa Gut comes into the stream, you got to start screen recording because that's your receipt for the video. Well, when I started screen recording Papa Gut, the conversation went on for a whole other 2 hours. What am I going to do? Put a 2-hour screenshot in a video? Girl, when I tell you what, I was so over it. I was so over it. So Miss Kitty, she lost interest. She done got off the couch. She walked away. She was like, I'm over it. Mr. Kitty got some food, took a nap, woke up. They were still fighting on the internet. It was just a really long time, you guys. And when I tell you that I did the Lord's work by watching this for you so you didn't have to, I really do mean it. I was able to concise their arguments into just their closing statements they gave on the Twitter space, and that's about 13 minutes or so. No, okay. It's longer. It's about 10 minutes. But here's what I did for you guys. I'm going to roll the clip, and I'm not going to make you listen to 10 minutes. I sped it up to 125% speed, so it's going to be a little bit faster, so you don't have to go through what I went through, girl, because let me tell you what, okay? So I'm going to roll you the clip of their closing statements of their just them alone was 2 hours of bickering back and forth, okay? I'm going to roll you the condensed closing statements from this. So roll it.
All right, so here's my closing statement. Here's the reality. I've interacted with you for quite a while. After our first interaction, you made a massive mistake that you admitted, right? You've apologized multiple times profusely. At that time, I was being very charitable, and I was taking it as you were being genuine, right? I DM'd you, I said we could get like a beer, this and that. Like, I was trying to really resolve that thing, despite everybody saying I shouldn't. Moving forward to this, your unprompted targeting of me in this weird way where you admitted that like you were never genuine in the first place has absolutely triggered me understanding, at least when it comes to your interaction with me, that you are wildly dishonest, at least when it comes to me. I don't think that you can, I'm never going to accept the apology because it doesn't come from an actual place of honesty. You've been doing your best to frame this conversation in a really dishonest way. And I don't think that you really care. I think that if nobody gave you backlash, your own community didn't give you a substantial amount of backlash, you would have doubled down and you would have felt powerful about it. But the reality is that I don't feel powerful going after people that I think are weaker than me because that's what a pathetic person does. I would never do that to a smaller content creator, and I would never disrespect somebody like that. I don't think it's funny to make these types of disgusting jokes. I made one before, even though it was in good context to try to call out a predator, which is something, or an alleged predator, which I've used my platform to do multiple times. It was still inappropriate, and I am the reason why people still talk about it, because it is something that I talk about as a failure in my career, okay? But you continuously are doubling down thinking it's funny to invalidate, and this is what happens when you joke about these things. It's invalidating to abuse victims. Now, I get it. In your sphere, you do you. Anybody can do whatever they want in their sphere. I'm not part of your sphere. It's not appropriate to make pedophile or rape jokes. Other people might think so, and if you want to do that, be my guest, but I think it's disgusting and invalidating, especially as somebody who purports to care about social issues, right? If somebody else who didn't give a fuck about any of the politics or something made these jokes, like a lot of the commentary community, I don't really take it as personally, but you pretend to care, and you've shown time and time again that you don't. I don't think you're honest. I don't think that you're genuine. And I think that moving from here, you're going to do your best to reclaim your career. But I'm telling you, Dennis, stop trying to insert jokes. Other people might think so, and if you want to do that, be my guest, but I think it's disgusting and invalidating, especially as somebody who purports to care about social issues, right? If somebody else who didn't give a fuck about any of the politics or something made these jokes, like a lot of the commentary community, I don't really take it as personally, but you pretend to care, and you've shown time and time again that you don't. I don't think you're honest. I don't think that you're genuine. And I think that moving from here, you're going to do your best to reclaim your career. But I'm telling you, Dennis, stop trying to interact with me. And I won't interact with you if you stop talking about social issues. You have no fucking clue what you're talking about, because you are actively having a harmful impact on the social sphere. Your conversation with Christian Walker was insane. You let him get away with everything under the sun. You pushed back like one time. It was disgusting. You didn't push him back at all with like the homophobic shit he was saying whatsoever. Like, you've proven time and time again that you shouldn't be talking about these topics, and it's totally fine. Some people don't have an interest. I think that's totally cool. You shouldn't have an interest. It's fucking insane. But I do. And when you assassinate conversations in like different social narratives over and over again, you've proven yourself that maybe you should stick to talking about how big of a shit.
So I mean, you said a whole lot of stuff, and like honestly, there's a whole lot of it that's just the most evil human being in the world, and like the worst person ever, and I'm like such a bad person, and you know, like I'm just awful, completely awful, right? According to you, even though we really have never interacted. I mean, we had like that debate, I guess, and then later on we like had, I guess, just about this past week had like somewhat of a Twitter interaction. Um, the people who actually like know me and have met me and are around me like daily know that I'm not like a badly intentioned person. I don't do things to like with the intention of like harming someone or destroying their lives. I try to as best as possible, and throughout these hours that I've been here talking to numerous people, not just you, I've been talking to a lot of different people today and hearing them out and trying my best to like explain where I'm coming from so they can understand where I'm coming from. At the end of the day, I honestly just want to make peace. And if you don't want to accept it for some reason, that's fine. That's your prerogative. Honestly, I don't really want to, create more reasons to have conflict, especially on the internet. There's already a lot of negativity, and surely some of my jokes or some of the statements that I made, have helped propagate some negativity. So, at the end of the day, not perfect. Going to do my best to have better statements in the future. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I just want to. I think it was cool to have you on, so that we could essentially, try to make peace and come to an understanding. I know this at certain points was very confrontational. I hope everybody who's been listening, and voiced their thoughts feels like they were able to voice everything that they wanted to voice. I hope everybody who's, been following along for the last few hours was able to, get some insight into what's going on. I really appreciate everybody who stuck around. I appreciate, everybody who spoke. I appreciate Nick, who was a host for a certain time. I appreciate Ari. I appreciate, you, Papa, everybody else. I like my own tweet. Thank you for stopping by.
Hey, Dennis,
Yeah.
before you close, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to moderate. I know, Papa, you don't know me, but I think it was appropriate since there was horrendous and untrue things published about me in the New York Times by Taylor Lorenz. And I am basically the biggest advocate here for people who are unfairly smeared publicly. I lost my career and I was in probably the darkest place of my entire life after it happened. So I'm extremely sorry that you were both in this situation. And I hope that everyone has a chance to heal and learn from it and maybe change and do better moving forward. But anyway, I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you for doing this. I appreciate it. And hopefully this was a sign of like the things that can be done on the internet. Two people who don't agree with each other come together and try to have a conversation and work things out in public. I recently did that with Christian Walker, even though I got a lot of criticism for it. I don't agree with anything he has to say. He is kind of a basket case. There's a lot going on there. I did my best to push back. And at the end of the day, I think it's important to have conversations like this because we all end up kind of understanding each other a little better and kind of hopefully moving towards a more positive direction as far as discourse goes, because everything is just so divided nowadays. It's just so A and B, and you're the enemy, you're the villain, you're the good guy, So I think it's better to just talk things out so we can all get along, hopefully. So yeah, I want to thank everybody who took the time to listen in and stop by and talk and do their thing. Any final words? Anybody who's here as a speaker? Anybody else want to say anything? Okay, I'm going to take that as that's the end of it. So I'm going to end.
You guys, it was a lot. It was a lot of back and forth. Here's my opinion on it, okay? So, defnoodles, okay? Think what you want of the guy. He circled around in circles a lot. He did kind of deflect a lot. He did kind of, dance around certain things a lot. He was kind of, not taking a lot of accountability with certain things, but I'm going to give it to the guy. He sat there and took a beating for 6 hours on the internet from his fans, from other creators, and from Papa Gut for 6 hours in this Twitter space, and he did not back down. I'm going to give it to him. That takes a lot of guts. That takes a lot of courage, and I commend him for sitting through that because he could have just ended that thing when things started going left, and he did not. He did not end things. He stood his ground. He stood up for what he really thought was to be true, which I don't agree with everything that he was saying, but what I will say to him is I think that I will give him that he literally sat there and took the beating for 6 hours. And that's a long time to sit there and just take people coming at you, answer this question. Well, what about this? No, what do you have to say about this? Well, then you did this, and then you did that. And then Papa Gut just went off on him. Okay, you guys didn't even hear that part. If you are so inclined, that Twitter space was recorded. Now, I don't know how to access that. Maybe it's on defnoodles Twitter. I don't really know. But if you are so inclined to listen to all 6 hours of that, 5-6 hours of that whole thing, you can. But when I tell you don't waste your life on it, you're going to, leave with 15,000 more gray hairs and 75 years gained on your life. I'm not joking about it. But I will commend him. He sat there and took the beating. And I tell you what, when that stream was over, I know, Def Noodles, if you were me after that, after 6 hours of that, it's just like at the beginning of it, I was like, this is serious. This is whatever. By the end of it, I was like, girl, how long are we going to keep talking about the same old thing? Y'all need to come on and get on over it, okay? We've been talking about this for too long. I can't talk. I'm an Aquarius. I'm dramatic for 10 minutes, and then I get over it, okay? If this were my Twitter space, I would have been, huffing and puffing for 10, 20 minutes, maybe 30 if I was really passionate about it. And then after that, girl, I'm over it. I'm on to the next topic, okay? That's just how I am. But you know what? For him to sit there and take it, I know that after this whole thing was over, if he smokes the flower, the flower, I already know. He was just like, you know what? Let me just roll something up real quick. Let me just light something up real quick. I need to relax after all of that, honey. And you know what? More power to you. I think that you should. I'm gonna be honest. After listening to the closing statements that you guys heard from Def and from Papa Gut, I have to say that I think Def Noodles, and just as the entire thing and as a whole, he didn't really take a whole lot of accountability. I think what you guys heard in the closing arguments, you hear a little bit more of that accountability, because that's the end, right? That's when he's wrapping it up. He's been doing this for 6 hours. That's the part people are going to play, right? So that's what he is really taking the high road on. But there was times in this live stream where he really wasn't. There was a lot of reflect deflect. There was a lot of not taking any accountability for what he did. There was a lot of, but I'm a comedian, so it makes it okay. There was a lot of that, a lot of stubbornness that came from him. But I think that, deep down, I think that he probably does know, at least now, after hearing Papa Gut and listening to how Papa Gut felt about the whole situation, actually talking about him, hopefully I would hope that he understands the ramifications of his actions, and he thinks a little bit more about, before he just tweets out dangerous stuff like he did to Papa Gut or about Papa Gut recently this week. So, and with Papa Gut, I feel bad for the guy, but he also was very much kind of like attacking Dennis, and I feel like at some certain points there was you don't need to attack, like let's just have a conversation. There was a lot of them talking over each other and stuff, and you guys, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't play you all that. Because it was 2 hours worth of stuff. Do you want to listen to 2 hours worth of a screen recording in my video? I don't think you do. You come here for the abbreviated version, TLDR, too long don't read. You come here to get the abbreviated version. That's what I'm giving you. But there was a lot of that in there, and I think Papa Gut is very angry. I don't think there's ever going to be a time when Papa Gut and Def Noodles are going to consider themselves friends, or even friendly, to be honest with you, because I think there's just so much hurt there when it involves Papa Gut. Dennis, Def Noodles really hit home with him, so I don't think that there's going to be a lot of room for anything in that. I think this whole situation was crazy. I hope this puts an end to the whole Def Noodles and Papa Gut feud. I don't watch a lot of Papa Gut, like I told you guys before. I don't watch his content like that. I don't know a whole lot about him, but I do know that in this situation he was very hurt at the things that Dennis, Def Noodles, was saying about him, because it was something that hit home, being that his wife was a victim of SA, and Def Noodles was calling him somebody who looked like a P word. So I can understand how that hit home. And then the t-shirt thing, him making the t-shirts with the face of him crying while he was talking about that situation, a screenshot of that's just not very cool. It's not nice. Def Noodles has since taken the shirts down. He's not selling them anymore, and he did delete the tweet that I had put out, and he responded to it being kind of nasty or whatever. He deleted that tweet, so maybe that's him showing a little bit of remorse for that. Who knows? But you guys, all I know is that if you want to see the whole thing, I think it's on defnoodles Twitter. I don't really quite know how to access that, but I know it was about it was a good 5-6 hours, girl, because I'm telling you what, I walked to the car. I walked out of work today at like 5:30, a little bit after 5:30, right? Maybe towards 5:45. I called Chime, got off the phone with Chime, Rich called me, talked to Rich for a minute, hung up, went on Twitter, saw this Twitter thing was going on, Twitter space thing was going on, turned it on, listened to it, went to Chipotle, sat outside Chipotle for a while I was listening to it. It kept on going, girl, and I'm so happy I decided to go in there and actually get my dang burrito bowl, because I would be still sitting out there. They would be closed by now. I went in there, got my burrito bowl. I was listening like this, came home, ate the burrito bowl, was done with the burrito bowl, still sitting there listening to this thing. Then I decided to start screen recording some stuff, made the whole this whole screen recording part of my video as I was still listening to it, because I screen recorded in chunks. Decided I wasn't going to do any of that because it was way too long in the end. They finished their closing arguments, and then I came back here to film, and now I got to put it all together, the closing arguments and stuff. You guys, it's a lot. It's a mess. And I can't believe I wasted 6 hours of my life on that. 5-6 hours of my life. I don't know. Everyone was there. Adam McIntyre was there. Rich Lux was there. Van Luke was there. Nick Snyder was there. Paige was there. Ashley Kyle was there. Blast from the Past. We had Truth Sleuth T. What is her name? I'm so sorry. I don't mean that to be shady. I just don't watch her channel. Allie Truth Sleuth, I think is her name. She was there. Everyone was there. Emily D. Baker was there. Everyone was there. We were all watching. Jesse Smiles popped in. You guys, everyone on the YouTube space was in there watching that thing. If you guys were in there watching, let me know in the comment section down below. What was the part that shocked you the most? If you didn't catch it and you're able to catch it on Twitter and you are so inclined to watch 5 or 6 hours of people arguing, then let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I decided not to put you through that. But yeah, let me know. Or even if you just decide to watch the clips that I included in this video, what are your thoughts on this whole situation from what you know about it? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And aside from that, that's going to be it for today's video, you guys. If you did enjoy it, make sure you give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel down below. Don't forget to ring the bell so you're notified of all my future videos when they do post. Remember, all Shelby bells ring the bell. I can't even talk straight, girl, anymore. I'm just oh my god, what did I just listen to? Anyway, and if you like today's video, YouTube should be suggesting a couple more down here to choose from, so I'd love it if you did that. And aside from that, I will see you in the next video. I'm going to bed. Bye, guys.